There have been a whole lot of memorable moments from this week, but this one from HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., it may take the cake. Take a look.
38% of our youth now are diabetic or pre-diabetic. That was 0 when I was a kid. Anybody thinks that we did gold standard medicine in this country from these institutions, look at our children. They're the sickest children in the world. Lori, you say that excuse me, Congressman DeLauro, you say that you've worked for 20 years on getting food dye out. Give me credit. I got it out in 100 days.
I'll give you that credit.
All right, so let's work together and do something that we all believe in, which is have healthy kids in our country, for God's sake.
Amen. I love that point. It makes me so happy. So MAHA, it really seems to resonate with parents. You and I both have kids. How can lawmakers like Rosa DeLauro pretend to have been crusading for children's health when America's youth have become visibly less healthy? It's undeniable.
Well, Hilary, that's why that is our clip of the week on Friday. We chose that one in part because of the importance, and you're exactly right. How can any of these people? Because, it's as if children they weren't a constituency, right? They didn't have money behind them. And I think this movement is very important because all these other interests do not care about the health of children, and people who have moved their mouths have not walked the walk. And so RFK is very refreshing to see him at work.
I love it. People have mixed feelings about, do we trust him? Do we not trust him? He's making things happen. So I do care about that. I love it. And I think we're seeing more stories in the mainstream media that we previously would not have seen because of his efforts. Mm-hmm. People are finally coming around to reporting things in a slightly more transparent manner. Obviously, people like us here at Blaze Media, we're at the forefront of that. But there was an article that really caught my eye on Utah being a place where there is a rising addiction among the people. And it's not what you would think. It's not drugs. It's not alcohol. It's soft drinks. And it's because, a lot of people that live in Utah happen to be Mormon and they don't drink alcohol. So they drink a lot of soda. And they have these concoctions they call dirty sodas, which I've had one, really delicious. So I understand why there's an epidemic here. But it's basically like a mocktail that you make with a soda. You use a Diet Coke or a Sprite or whatever. The one that I had was Diet Coke with coconut cream and a little bit of lime. It is delicious. But because these are so good and it's something that's, non-alcoholics, you could drink 10 of them and still drive home. There's not any repercussions other than now we're noticing that there is a rise in diabetes and other health conditions in these areas where soda is being consumed in such large quantities. Does that surprise you?
It does. That's wild. I hadn't heard of that until today, but dirty soda. And this is who makes these?
Well, so they take just like a regular Diet Coke or a Sprite, and then they add, just like if you were making a cocktail, without the alcohol. So you add, your cranberry juice and your whatever, and you make all these different things. But there are the interviews that I saw in some of these articles, there are people in Utah that say, I drink nothing but soda. So they've just cut water out completely because they have this addiction. So some of the people said they spent between $300 and $600 a week on soda. So it's just another example of why we need the MAHA movement to educate people. Drink what you want. That's why we live here in America. We want you to make your own choices. However, everything is permissible. Not everything is beneficial.
Because we're going to have to pay for, the healthcare system pays for this. So we do pay for, on health.
Yes.
We pay for sickness. And the other thing is, it strikes me like this is a great example of why we shouldn't be subsidizing big soda.
Yes, 100%. Another thing that I read about, and I'm not going to name any names, but several of our coworkers here live on energy drinks. So I was wondering if you'd heard of taurine. It's a common ingredient in drinks like Red Bull or Celsius, and it does have some health effects that are a little concerning.
So just I know that stuff is. I know that the health drink those energy drinks are bad for you, right? So this is where just so you know where we're coming from. I know. I look at them and I know it's bad. I used to on a road trip and I had to drive a lot in the Northeast. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's quicker than flying to some places. I'd say, okay, end of the night, I wait till the very end and then I just pound one of those. I know that it involves a crash too. It doesn't even keep you awake.
Right.
So I know that taurine is mentioned in there. I do associate it with being basically bad and I try to stay away from them. But do I even want to know? What does it do?
Well, so I didn't know this either. I mean, I'd heard lots of things about why you shouldn't overdo energy drinks. I've heard people have all kinds of heart problems and things like that. Taurine is something that's actually in your body. Your body naturally produces it. It's also been used to alleviate chemotherapy side effects in leukemia patients. But now they're saying if you have an additional intake of taurine, it might actually worsen blood cancers and speed up the production of leukemia cells. So it's just another reason why energy drinks, maybe not a good idea. I mean, again, it's one of those things where everything in moderation, right? Like I feel like in America, we go to the extremes, we become obsessed with things. And the MAHA movement is trying to educate people on, it's not that you can't have a soda. It's not that you can't eat a cookie. It's how often do you do that? And just the transparency of these are the repercussions if you overdo it. If you consume, $300 worth of soda a week, there are going to be consequences. So that's what I'm most excited about, I think, with MAHA is it's just the transparency because we haven't gotten that in the past from big soda or big pharma. And they're really pushing for that so people can make their own choices and have to live with the consequences.
Yeah, and I don't want to subsidize obesity. We got enough problems as it is. We are an obese society. We're a sick society. And when it comes to taurine, I know I don't want blood cancer.
No, me neither. So maybe drink some green tea if you need some energy. And so you had a story that I wanted to know more about regarding meat, red meat.
Yeah. So at Align, we published this, Meat the Enemy, How Protein Became, the left's newest microaggression. And this has always been fascinating to me, the commercial cultural movements of our time. I think we have a positive counter-revolution now, a real commercial cultural movement that's moving in a great direction. So what you see now is that the left is calling, pro meat eaters, like they have articles the opposite of this, where they're saying in lefty publications, meat is MAGA, right? How protein became the opposite of our headline, how protein became MAGA. Because weightlifters and people who care about their bodies online are talking increasingly about eating more meat and how this isn't bad for you. It's actually very good, especially if you're physically active and using that energy. You need that red meat energy. But this there's a lot of aspects to this, but this really starts or gains steam with the climate movement because the idea is that cows, right, and meat all they chew up a lot of grass and they methane comes out of them,
right?
And they're helping to ruin the climate. So keeping all this cattle is bad for the earth, and therefore we have to stop eating red meat. We have to stop making that cool. And, we need to eat more bugs, right? We need to eat the bugs.
The cockroaches and the worms.
So, I mean, but here's the thing to realize. I mean, you cannot separate politics from food. I mean, this has been going on for a long time, and it's going on right now. And there's a war being waged over the meaning of protein and red meat.
It is the most ridiculous thing. I just feel like we've been fed so many lies that butter is bad, eggs are bad, meat is bad. Again, it's one of those situations where you go everything in moderation. I mean, you can't sit and eat butter all day and expect to be healthy. But I don't know why at some point we've been fed this lie that if you eat red meat, if you consume butter, you're going to die sooner. You look at communities like the Amish or the Mennonites that consume those things on a regular basis, and they're some of the healthiest groups in our country.
Oh yeah, my great-grandmother, 101, bacon grease,
right,
was used in everything.
Well, I'm going to order steak tonight, and then I'm going to slather of roll in butter.